안녕하세요. 좋습니다. 감사합니다. Dreamcatcher just posted a bit of a teaser, I think, for like the next thing that they have coming, and so I wanted to check out their most recent release, which is a song called Reason. Now, I don't know anything going into this, although it seems from the title and then from this first little caption that I've got at the bottom here, because of insomnia. So it seems like this is a bit of a tribute to the fandom. And of course, Dreamcatcher, they're a fantastic group. So let's just check this out and see what they have done for their fans.
소녀들이 있기에 드림캐쳐가 있습니다.
I have to go on. Reason. 어린아이 같았던 나는 이제 없지만 같은 자리에서 넌 힘이 되어줬구나. 재빠르게 지나온 나이들은 모든 게 참 오래도록 꿈꿨던 모습으로 너와 다른 듯 보이긴 하지만 별반 다르지 않아. 지고 치면선 잘하지 들렸단 말이 많아. 다시만 만큼을 알갈 땐 꼭 책임감이 따라 매 순간 다 새기며 부어. 이 내 빛을 가린 구름이 앞을 가려도 far away, 멀리 far away. 보란 듯이 날아갈 날개를 펼쳐 cause you are the reason. 흘러가는 시간 좀처럼 잡을 수 없더라고. 그래도 믿어 우린 언제나 나가니까. Air one minute like a air make hundred million. 내가 쉰 높은 곳에 질주를 위한 key we don't fight. 보여 우리만의 길 위에 light that is love or free. 이 내 빛을 가린 구름이 앞을 가려도 far away, 멀리 far away. 보란 듯이 날아갈 날개를 펼쳐 cause you are the reason. 지금 이 순간 그대 목소리가 모든 걸 말해줘 나의. We're always with insomnia. We can spend more time together. 한계를 넘어 우리 함께 나아갈 날개를 펼쳐 cause you are the reason. 너와 다른 듯 보이지 하지만 별반 다르지 않아. 지고 치면서 잘했지 틀렸단 말이 많아. 터지는 만큼 올라갈 땐 꼭 책임감이 따라 매 순간 다 새기며 부어.
Oh, how can you not like that, man? How can you not love that? Oh, that's it.
있기에
So it's interesting. I think it's really interesting that the backing vocals that they chose to go with this. It has a more. I'm not sure. Like it could be something to do with production or processing or something like that. But it seems like they had some additional sort of backing vocals that they brought in. For the section of the whoa, like those little sort of chant like sounds. because there's definitely like some lower registers in there, and they sound very masculine. You know what I mean? So it sounds like they had some male backing vocals to come in, and there was another part earlier than that too, and but I would assume that it ties in conceptually, or it goes along with the concept in that, because it's the fandom, it's the fan base. Like that's the reflected sound of like the fan base within the song, and it's interesting. Like it's got great band instrument sounds, like they always do, right? Like the guitars are great, some of the melodies are great, the riffs are great, and nice like double stops on the drums, boom 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 boom, like that. It's got really nice song structure and composition and everything, like they always do. And even though it has like screaming, crying guitar in there, and powerful drums and everything, it is still like a little bit sweeter. It's all in the vocals. It all comes down to the vocal delivery, right? And like, okay, so let's take the rap section into consideration, right? It was its own like bridge part almost, right? There was like a bridge 1, and then there was like a bridge 2 almost, and it was, like I'm used to hearing Dami come out and be like, I don't know, like she goes way down low in her register, and the rhythm is like always really focused, like it's a very it's driven, like whenever she has her part. This one it felt a little bit softer, it's still has their energy, it still has their like power and everything, but they were adding that touch to it to just make it a little bit more of an endearing type of thing. But it's got some great contrasting parts. There's a very intuitive like tempo change, right? Like it's very fast in the beginning, when you have the it's in 4 throughout, but a couple of sections, whenever you hear that sort of melodic line on the guitar, that that is like, feels like a faster count, because that's it's in 4, and so that's 8 notes, but the tempo is such that it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So after that, when it goes like into its verse section, the tempo comes down a little bit, and you get very, very like rock based drum sound. You can hear the snare hit on 2 and 4, and but it was good. It's so interesting. Just the specific touch that's put on it. The vocal seems more intimate, more like more, it fits the idea of like this dedication, or this sort of appreciation side, like for the fandom, and it's pretty cool. I wonder what because they've dropped this teaser, like it was I seen it posted on Twitter, and there was a few pictures of things, and it's like, it's more like this, like this is a bit more meta, right? Like this is because it's footage of the concerts, and these different moments that they've had sort of outside of productions. Like it's not like a music video with a visual theme, and you know what I mean, like this its own concept. The concept is the group performing for the fans, right? So it's like sort of, it's real meta, and the images that were posted anyways had more of this type of feel. Like it wasn't a dramatic type of concept, like with the dystopia stuff, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like this, like all their all their music videos are really good. I mean, they're really awesome, right? Like visually and everything, but it's not like, a bunch of robots shooting things up, and it's not like, it isn't some like dreamscape cinematic thing that's going on, like a scene that's playing out or something. It's much more like grounded in reality, much more like tactile, and much more it just has that feeling sort of removed from production. And it's like, okay, well, this is actually what goes on, you know what I mean, like behind the cameras and everything. So it's interesting. It's a nice couple of lines here in the beginning.
얘들이 있기에 드림캐쳐가 있습니다.
I have to go on. Reason.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So see how like it shifted, right? Tempo wise, it shifted. The drums were like boom, 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 like big hits, right? And sort of like a shuffle type of rhythm to it, while that melodic riff was going on, right? The dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. And when we shift into the verse now, this transition into the verse section, the drums is like a much more laid back type of rock groove, and instead of having like a screaming guitar sound up front, now we have a bass, like the bass guitar is like, basically carrying sort of a melodic line here. It still is going to be moving your chord progression along because it is the bass voice. And so, but you see how it's sort of, it's one of these contrasts where like the beginning is very expansive and like a huge big sound, and then it gets much more like intimate. Drums, right? That laid back groove, just the bass line riding out, and then like a solo sort of vocal melody line that's going on over it. So it becomes really intimate now. It's just because they want to sing to the fan. They want to sing to you. They want you to hear this, right? Like it's just for you. Real airy vocal. Little licks on the guitar now, and it's like the section before, it's like they probably have like an overdrive on it, right? Because the distortion is so like it's screaming so loud, and now it doesn't have that, right? It's a pretty clean guitar sound. It's got that a little bit of distortion on it, but it's the way it's muted, right? And it's just these short little licks. Beat that, beat that. It's definitely informed by the section before it, but it's a very demure, soft type of. Everything about this is much more intimate, from the underlying groove to the vocal delivery, and then the actual guitar. It's real like delicate, real soft, like pull you a little bit closer in. Oh, big. There we go. Okay, so Dami's like got this dee da da dee da da dee da 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 da, and I don't know if it's the her main vocal track. It probably is though. Like they probably have doubled it and then shifted it down a little bit in pitch, because there's there's her and her deep register, but then there's like there's a even lower register that is synced up with this, and the two are layered together on this. But it is this, sound that is a little bit like a little bit of a stretch, right? Like so in this vocal sound right here, it's a pull in the opposite direction from that intimate, more personal like feeling. So now this is reaching out again into abstract sort of territory, and that goes along with this visual now too, because we've gone from like stage footage to some sort of animated sequence now. So we are sort of like still reaching into the more abstract sort of conceptual realm here. Double stops on the drums, right, and the guitar. Up tempo. Oh yeah, the vocals have all kinds of stuff going on, man. There's, I don't know if it's, I want to say like I think it is a doubled, vocal track that is pitch shifted down and has some different sort of EQ going on there, like bring up the lows, cut some of the highs, because it's just so synced, like like it's so close in time. There's hardly any duration, like as far as time goes. There are no differences between the two sounds, right? It's only a pitch and a tone type of contrast that's going on. But it's such a like this part of the mix is very, very full. Like it's very, very rich. From the drum sound is huge. The percussion is like massive now, and then your guitar sound and bass sound are much more sort of even. Like it's even hard. Like I have to listen kind of carefully to hear the guitar come out a little bit more, and then the vocal part, the way that it's done, I don't think at this point it's like backing vocals though. I think this is all production.
좀처럼 잡을 수 없더라고. 그래도 믿어. 우린 언제나 나가니까.
This part right here, this shift into this, see if it feels like a bridge. This isn't that same groove from the first verse, right? Like we don't even have that same sort of 2 and 4 accenting that's going on here, and it almost feels like a prog jazz type of a groove. You know what I'm saying? The bass guitar in this section almost reminds me of like something Rush would play. Like this sounds almost like some Geddy Lee type of bass. It's quite a shift, man. But it does have that same, like stylistically totally different from what the first verse brought in, but between having some very sort of light sparse percussion, a lot of bass, like the bass line is melodic here, like it, the way it's moving, and these syncopated rhythms. And then the light, sort of airy and delicate vocal part. So again, it does do that same intimate type of like draw you in a little bit closer type of thing, but it's a complete shift stylistically to so we were like okay, we came in with that and then the that guitar riff, that main riff that's going on, right? And then we went into this sort of one area of this rock groove. Then we totally shifted out of that and got like all abstract and everything. It was just sort of like going into that section with Dami, and we've hit that main sort of riff again, and now we've shifted back, but into like a different sort of space, almost like each member is kind of like one-on-one with you for a moment, right? As if you're like one at a time. It's okay, the first person is saying okay, and then okay, the next one is saying this, okay, something different, and then the group, and then on to the next member, they're saying this. It's really interesting. It's a great contrast. So each one of these sections has like such a great groove to it. It's a really interesting song. Like it's actually really interesting, man, the way this is moving through tempo and then also like style. See, even that last bit there, the sort of rap part that came, the shift in rhythm. At first it felt like prog jazz, old school Rush thing, and then we got almost like trappy with the percussion, and then the vocal too. Like it started to get a little bit more hip hoppy right towards the end there. Like all these change ups in the sections, and it's very. Again, it has this one like each member is sort of telling you something one at a time. Like here's my little message to you, right? Like it's pretty cool. See, that sounds massive. That sounds like more backing vocals have been brought in for this part. That's what it seems like to me. And it was just so choral, right? Also, whenever that up-tempo part comes back, right, and all the group is singing, the drums, the guitar, all that stuff that's in that section, if the other sections are this sort of one-on-one message from the group to the fans, then there's the sound and the feeling of that upbeat tempo and everybody singing, the harmonizations together, and then the guitar sort of riffiness and all of that. That's like, okay, that signature sort of Dreamcatcher, like rock oriented sound, right? So it's sort of like them as a group contrasted with them as individual members, kind of. 4 on the floor, kick. Again, another shift. Oh, that was really cool. They were so shift in tempo again. A whole nother shift to a different feel. That was almost like some electronic sound, which they also feature in their songs too, right? So again, another sort of contrasted shift there, a little bit of this different style. And then there was a bit of a guitar sound that started to come back. Man, it's really interesting. It's so many stylistic change-ups between these different sections. Like it's almost like an overture or something, like it just has so many different almost like standalone themes or motifs or whatever as the sections progress and it gets through the song. It's really prog it is really progressive rock. Like I think under the underlying sort of like thing that's going on here. So this feels very prog rock. See, I'll bring you back to this. And it makes sense that that's kind of like the where it wants to go out on, right? It's such a great riff, dude. That's a fantastic riff, man. Yeah, and this like that this energy that is sort of it brought it up in the beginning too, right? This is totally Dami, right? And the way it sort of ends on this energy too, like because this is like Dreamcatcher energy right here, like oh man, you can feel it. You can feel it in the double stops and the drums, right? You can feel it in that awesome riff. You can feel it in Dami's rap, dude. Like that's so Dreamcatcher, right? Like that's so them. So it's really good, man. It's really good. This is this has got to be so awesome for the fandom, right? Like I absolutely love this. This is great prog rock. It's great. It's such an interesting song. It never stops like giving you something different, and that's why I think conceptually what they've done here is created this dedication type of song, and there's a sound that is them coalesced into what is very familiar to the fans, like as far as the Dreamcatcher sound, and it contrasts with these different sections that have like stylistic changes that may relate each member's feelings towards the fan, kind of. At least that's what I interpret is going on here. But it's another really great song from Dreamcatcher. Man, all the footage was great too, right? Like, man, all that concert footage, man, it's really cool. It's really cool. I dig the way that a lot of because this is something I've really only seen in K-pop, right? The way that they get that shot on the stage with the fans like in the background, like I don't remember seeing that from the groups that in the past. Well, of course we didn't have like the social media platforms back in the day or the phones, so I mean that's why we didn't see any of that stuff back then. But I've only to me that was introduced as something that happens from these groups, right? But it's really cool. Like it's just it makes you want to go to the concert, you know what I mean? Like but it's great footage, man. It's great behind the scenes stuff, sort of candid stuff, moments with the group together. Again, all just dedication, homage, appreciation for the fandom. But it's a really interesting song, man. It's got a great like structure to it. Its composition, these different styles that are going on. And it's endearing because if it does have that meaning of relating the sort of feelings or the thoughts of the group members, and then and it's also just really cool. Like you know what I mean? Like it's a really really great composition to create this progressive contrasting like variance in styles and everything, and keep it all tied together so well. It's a balance of not only changing in the time and the style and stuff, but it's very very like it has to be very metered. It has to be carefully measured That's there's a lot of reason for what each section of the song does, right? Like reason is not just the idea of like, oh, you're the reason that we do this. It's even in the composition of the song. Like there's a reason for everything that is in this song. There's a reason for why it sounds the way it sounds, for the instruments that are doing the thing, for the vocals, for the way the vocals are produced. There's a reason for why each section lasts as long as it does, and why it moves into the section that follows it. Like everything is for a reason. It's a really cool track from Dreamcatcher. Oh, this has to be like if you're a hardcore Dreamcatcher fan. Like I love Dreamcatcher for sure. But if you are Insomnia, like if you're that fan base, like this is, you probably it was very sentimental to you. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, I can tell, but it's great. Dreamcatcher, Reason. It's another great song from Dreamcatcher.